Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we take all the chaos of the modern world, the mountain of data, the press releases, celebrity lawsuits, these volatile housing market shifts, and we try to turn it all into actionable, instantly relevant knowledge for you. I'm really glad you're joining us.
Yeah, and our sources today really create this masterclass in information contrast. We're sifting through the hyper-exclusive world of ultra-high net worth media, so the story they want you to see.
Right.
And then we're immediately contrasting that with the chaotic, kind of volatile reality that's defined by hard market data and legal documents.
That contrast is exactly our mission today. We are sorting through this huge stack of source material. It spans everything from the financial risk in a seemingly unstoppable place like South Florida
Yeah.
to the just overwhelming flow of content from global streamers like Netflix.
And the actual cost.
And the actual, often devastating legal and physical cost of celebrity influence and extreme wealth. So our job is to pull the signal out of all that deafening noise.
It's a crucial task because these worlds, finance, entertainment, regulation, even environmental tragedy, they're all connected by this central theme of extreme wealth and, maybe surprisingly, its fundamental vulnerability.
That's a great way to put it.
We are tracing the thread of high-stakes risk, whether that risk is reputational, financial, or physical.
Exactly. So today, we're starting with an exclusive look behind the curtain of this brand new, globally ambitious luxury media venture. We'll analyze what they're selling and, I guess, why now? Then we're going to drill right into the dizzying price points and the regulatory mess that's rocking the South Florida housing market. From there, we zoom out to the massive global streaming landscape, that must-see Netflix slate, and we finish with a devastating look at celebrity legal losses and the physical destruction from the LA wildfires. Okay, let's unpack this. So we're going to begin in the rarefied air of global wealth with the announcement of this new international luxury lifestyle docuseries. It's called Impact Wealth. And this is a huge project. It's set to premiere in January 2026, produced by Think Global Media Group in collaboration with the established Impact Wealth magazine. This isn't your typical reality TV. This is media that is targeting and explicitly featuring the 0.1%.
And what's important here is how they strategically define the genre. They're not just calling it reality TV. They label it a luxury lifestyle, travel, and docuseries focused on ultra-high net worth living.
So they're positioning it.
They're positioning it not as simple, consumer voyeurism, but as a space where, and this is their quote, elegance, excellence, access, meaningful impact, and aspiration collide. The goal, according to the producers, is to give you an insider view of what's behind the curtain.
That concept of access is traditionally the core selling point of this kind of content. But I wonder, though, is access still a novelty in a post-social media world? I mean, doesn't that manufactured exclusivity feel a little old-fashioned compared to the raw, daily stuff that influencers and tech leaders are putting out?
That's a great question, and I think the answer is that this project is responding directly to that influencer saturation. They are shifting the narrative from simple consumption like a supercar, a watch to legacy and impact. This isn't just showing a rich person's house. It's framing their lives through the lens of philanthropy, longevity, and global investment. They're trying to elevate the conversation around the ultra-rich away from criticism and toward inspiration, or, aspiration, as they call it.
That aspirational pitch is definitely supported by the sheer global scope of the series. They're planning 8 45-minute episodes for season 1, and filming starts remarkably soon in August 2025.
And the itinerary is so deliberate. It reads like a bespoke travel fantasy list, designed to capture all the global centers of capital. They're filming in Monaco, Dubai, Tokyo, Paris, London, St. Bart's, NYC, Vegas, Miami, Palm Beach.
The whole list.
The whole list. Marbella, Santorini, the Amalfi Coast. This geographic breadth is designed to emphasize that this kind of wealth is borderless and, infinitely mobile.
And the structure reflects that intent to educate as well as entertain. Each episode is framed by a thematic lens, giving it that sort of documentary, travelogue hybrid feel. We'll see titles that promise these curated experiences like The Art of Indulgence in Italy or Jet Set Asia. It guarantees a highly polished, intellectualized showcase of wealth.
And the content they're featuring is specifically designed to justify that docuseries label. We are talking destination deep dives, behind-the-scenes access to ultra-exclusive events like super yacht shows and haute couture fashion, and private experiences you just can't buy tickets to.
But the core difference is the profiles they're focusing on.
Right, these aren't just Hollywood names. They're meant to be figures of substantive influence. Financiers, tech pioneers, influential designers, longevity experts, serious philanthropists, and impact investors. It's profiling the people who actually move markets and shape policy.
And that ties into their signature segment, the Impact Wealth Access Pass.
Yeah, this explicitly highlights invite-only moments that the producers market as experiences most will never experience. It leads heavily into escapism, but it also subtly reinforces the idea that true power is found in these controlled, closed-door environments, not on open social media.
It's pretty smart branding. By targeting affluent consumers, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, and global tastemakers aged 25 to 54, along with aspirational viewers, they're trying to bridge the gap.
Exactly.
They're appealing to the fans of high-end reality like Selling Sunset or Million Dollar Listing, but they're giving them this veneer of prestige like Chef's Table or the financial drama of Billions.
And the connection to the magazine is just crucial for their credibility here.
Yeah.
Impact Wealth magazine has already built a reputation for featuring serious players who embody that blend of finance and influence. We're talking venture capitalist Tim Draper, Kevin O'Leary,
Wilbur Ross.
former U.S. Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross, Audrey Gruss, Deepak Chopra. They have the contact list and the established voice to pull off a project of this scale.
And when you look at the why now factor, it just makes perfect sense from a business standpoint. The producers note that this show arrives as global travel is surging, innovation is accelerating, human longevity is advancing.
Making the wealthy interested in biohacking and extension.
Exactly. And luxury markets are thriving. It's a content product built for a moment of accelerated global wealth expansion.
They're essentially packaging an ideological shift. The narrative has moved beyond just conspicuous consumption. Now it's about how you live, how well you age, and the legacy you build. They're selling the idea that wealth equals responsibility, but also eternal vitality and access.
That narrative of exclusive, fast-paced wealth perfectly leads us right into the South Florida market, a key filming location for impact wealth. We're moving from global aspiration to local economic turbulence, where that opulence is being filmed and where it is colliding with some really harsh financial realities. South Florida right now is this dramatic paradox. On one hand, the economy is absolutely humming, jobs are being added at an incredible rate, and ultra-luxury is still performing well. But on the other hand, the vast majority of the real estate sector is facing significant, maybe even structural upheaval, especially in the older condo market.
And what's fascinating here is the fact that this volatility is highly segmented and geographical. It's not a uniform market contraction. We have these deep structural issues like aging infrastructure and new regulations hitting the middle market hard.
Well, at the very top.
While the very top of the market is just shifting its address and looking for tactical discounts.
Let's focus on that tactical shift. Jupiter, Florida, which was previously a quieter northern Palm Beach County town, has now officially been designated the new playground for the ultra-wealthy. We all know the names. Michael Jordan, former Alabama coach Nick Saban, Tiger Woods, all have primary residences there.
And the argument for moving to Jupiter is that it offers a lifestyle that southern Palm Beach County markets lost a decade or two ago. Proponents say Jupiter is what Boca Raton felt like 20 years ago: less intense traffic, less overdevelopment, and crucially, less scrutiny. But the biggest draw, according to the Fox Business reporting, is the price gap.
That's the big data point showdown that caught our eye. Fox Business claims Jupiter offers comparable luxury: the sprawling waterfront, the yacht access, the top-tier golf to Palm Beach Island, but at a staggering 50 to 60% lower cost.
That's an unbelievable arbitrage opportunity for the ultra-wealthy.
It is. The numbers partially support that, though we have to be careful comparing a mainland market to an island market, which always commands a premium.
Always.
But if we analyze the segment that matters most, buyers purchasing over $1 million, the median sold price in Jupiter right now sits at about $1.8 million.
Right.
Compare that to Palm Beach Island, where the median sold price is hovering around $3 million. The value proposition is just crystal clear.
And Jupiter has the inventory to prove it's playing at that top tier. Our sources show 50 active listings there, over $5 million, and they recently had a major high-end sale hit $48 million for an intracoastal property in Admiral's Cove. It's established itself as a serious luxury destination.
But wait, if Jupiter is presenting itself as the discount option, but the Reventure data you cited shows that Jupiter specifically, zip code 33477, is currently overvalued by 27%, with a negative 6.1% price forecast looming. Isn't that discount actually a massive risk indicator?
Yes.
So why are the wealthy still flocking there if a correction is imminent?
That is the essential question. The market is distinguishing between cachet and momentum.
Mm.
Palm Beach Island, despite the $3 million median price, is seen as having established infrastructure, limited inventory, and historic cachet that stabilizes its value over the long term.
Okay.
Jupiter, however, is a market driven by momentum. It's been lifted rapidly by this influx of high net worth migration driven by tax advantages and the search for the next hidden gem.
So it's a
That 27% overvaluation suggests that local income growth hasn't yet caught up to the housing prices, meaning the market relies solely on continued outside migration. If that migration slows, that price correction will hit Jupiter faster and harder than its highly established neighbor.
And what about the surrounding areas?
Interestingly, adjacent markets like Boca Raton and Delray Beach are showing slightly better risk numbers. Boca is at -2% for overvaluation, and Delray on the island is showing a -1.8% price forecast. So this suggests that while Jupiter is cheaper than Palm Beach Island, it may be exposed to significantly greater short-term correction risk than its immediate neighbors to the south.
Okay, now let's move to the bulk of the market, the condos and townhouses, because this is where the turbulence is undeniable and it's being driven by regulation. Sales plummeted 18.4% year over year in South Florida.
That's a huge drop.
It is. And the median pricing across the Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, dipped 4.2% to $340,000. Miami-Dade County saw an even steeper drop in condo sales at 21%.
The single exception, though, is the ultra-luxury segment. That's the kicker. Luxury condos priced over $1 million are still performing well, up nearly 88% compared to pre-pandemic 2019 levels.
But even that is slowing.
Right, even that segment, which is driven by new construction, is showing signs of slowing its pace. The middle and lower-end markets are being destroyed by what we're calling the regulatory triple threat.
That's a powerful term. Can you explain for our listener exactly what makes this a triple threat for owners of older buildings?
So the threats are cumulative. First, they face insane, rapidly escalating insurance costs due to increased weather risk and, of course, the catastrophic failure of the Champlain Towers South condo.
Right.
Second, they face fierce competition from brand new construction that carries none of that legacy risk. But the third and most financially devastating threat is the suite of tougher safety laws enacted post-collapse.
And these are the inspections?
These mandate milestone inspections required at 30 years or 25 years if the building is within 3 miles of the coast, which must then happen every 10 years after that. And critically, there is now mandatory reserve funding.
We've heard about mandatory reserves. Why is that specifically what's bankrupting owners and forcing them to sell?
Because mandatory reserve funding doesn't just mean saving for future painting. It means that condos must fund reserves to cover the entirety of their deferred maintenance and major structural components.
Wow.
So if a 40-year-old building has skipped roof repairs, HVAC replacement, and structural concrete restoration for 2 decades, owners now face massive multi-million-dollar assessments to retroactively cover those costs and future upkeep.
And this is immediate.
This burden is immediate and overwhelming. 1 in 5 buildings in Palm Beach County miss the first major regulatory deadline. Many owners, especially those on fixed incomes or those who bought condos priced below $500,000, simply cannot afford the 5- or 6-figure assessments necessary for safety compliance.
So they're forced out.
It forces a mass exodus of older inventory onto the market,
Right.
driving median prices down and creating a fire sale environment for developers.
And this leads directly into the redevelopment boom. We see Palm Beach Island, which hasn't seen a new oceanfront condo project in 2 decades, proposing a new ultra-luxury project by Oko Group and Kane International, 41 units on a nearly 5-acre parcel.
Which confirms that investors are actively capitalizing on this forced displacement, demolishing older, struggling structures to build brand new, compliant, and highly priced inventory at the top end.
This struggle isn't just limited to residential buildings either. We see legacy assets struggling fiercely in the commercial sector too, specifically in West Palm Beach, which has been booming. The iconic One Clear Lake office tower at 250 South Australian Avenue just sold for $45 million.
And that sale represents a significant, almost shocking loss of nearly $17.7 million compared to its 2021 sale price of $62.7 million. It's a textbook example of the flight to quality.
Explain that.
While new trophy buildings like One Flagler are 95% leased or more, with vacancy rates as low as 2.8%, older, Class B or C legacy assets are struggling. They're trading at discounts between 20 to 45%. Investors just will not tolerate older, inefficient inventory anymore.
So the buyer here, Bradford Allen, is making a calculated gamble on that discount. They plan a $10 million comprehensive upgrade, new roof, elevators, fitness center, with renovated suites slated for Q4 2025 delivery.
They're betting that even a heavily renovated legacy building can capture the spillover demand from the new trophy towers. The market is adjusting aggressively.
And speaking of aggressive market adjustments, this is where we introduce the Ryan Serhant factor.
Ah, the celebrity realtor.
The celebrity realtor, whose brokerage recently opened an office in Delray Beach, has been recruited to represent La Fontana, a massive 140-unit waterfront co-op situated directly across the Intracoastal Waterway from Palm Beach Island.
And the La Fontana backstory perfectly illustrates the regulatory pain point. The owners agreed to sell the entire co-op property, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do. Right.
While the price is unspecified, local reports suggested it could be around $200 million. And the primary catalyst for the decision was the pending state fire safety mandate assessment, the very expensive engineered life safety system. They were forced to sell to avoid the assessment.
It's crucial to understand why this sale is so complex. La Fontana is a co-op, meaning owners don't hold the deed to the real estate. They purchase shares in a corporation that owns the building.
Right, which is less common in South Florida.
Exactly. Co-ops are less common and typically trade for less than adjacent standard condos, which complicates the valuation. Furthermore, for a bulk sale, they needed an 80% consensus from the residents to agree to dissolve the corporation and sell the land.
Achieving that level of agreement, even under regulatory duress, speaks volumes about the financial pressure they were under.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The owners previously failed to secure a sale to a developer at an offer of $150 million.
So Serhant's mandate now is to attract a global developer and trigger a bidding war, presumably to get well past that prior offer. The regulatory pressure has now created this massive forced opportunity for developers targeting ultra-prime land.
We have to pivot now, though, to the necessary counter-narrative to all this market softening. Despite the chaos in housing prices, the South Florida job market remains fundamentally, remarkably strong. This is why the whole region isn't collapsing.
It's the foundation.
It is. The total number of non-farm jobs rose by 33,000 across the Tri-County metro area, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach.
And crucially, where is that growth coming from? We need to remember this essential segment. Nearly a third of those new jobs came from the trade, transportation, and utilities sector, the TNTU.
That TNTU boom is the floor of the South Florida economy. Miami-Dade County alone added 20,000 jobs, with 7,700 in the trades. That means logistics, construction, port operations, essential services.
Not just finance.
Not just finance moving from Wall Street. This is the core operational economy. Broward added 7,900 jobs, with 2,300 in TNTU.
And this essential labor force growth is the stabilizing factor. Unemployment rates are impressively tight across the board. Broward is at 3.2%, Palm Beach at 3.4%, and Miami-Dade at a very tight 2.7%.
Which suggests that while real estate prices are correcting due to high costs and prior overvaluation, the underlying engine driven by logistics and essential labor is healthy. In short, the luxury life being filmed for impact wealth in Miami and Palm Beach relies entirely on the stable functioning of that TNTU economy.
The trades are the true structural foundation.
They are.
And finally, before we leave the Sunshine State, we have to note how local media is reflecting the area's new status and how producers are capitalizing on the Palm Beach brand. We've seen the launch of The Bright Life of the Palm Beaches, a new lifestyle show on Fox 29 and WSFL-TV, hosted by a 30-year veteran realtor, Linda Bright, promoting local attractions, athletes, and entrepreneurs.
And tying back to that ultra-luxury narrative, Netflix is set to premiere a new reality series on December 29th, 2025, called Members Only, Palm Beach. It's focused on socialites navigating the drama and decadence of Palm Beach society.
But here is that great piece of local media detective work that exposes the power of branding. Filming permits reveal that despite the show being titled Members Only, Palm Beach, a lot of it was actually filmed in less exclusive Palm Beach County locations.
Like where?
West Palm Beach, Boynton Beach, including a focus on a local pickleball club, and Boca Raton. The one permit filed to film in Palm Beach itself was actually canceled.
That's a perfect microcosm of the disconnect we've been talking about. Producers use the cachet and aspiration of the Palm Beach name because it sells exclusivity, even when the actual content or the economic reality is happening somewhere else in the broader, more complicated county.
All right, shifting now from the localized, volatile world of South Florida real estate to the massive, overwhelming global entertainment sphere. Netflix's content output in late 2025 and early 2026 is truly a phenomenon in volume alone. We need to analyze this slate, not just list it off.
Yeah, this slate demonstrates Netflix's current strategic dilemma. How do you dominate every single genre while managing enormous costs and preventing subscriber churn? They are essentially programming for three things: protecting their existing massive IP, hunting aggressively for major awards, and maintaining genre dominance.
Let's start with that massive IP protection. The biggest events scheduled for December are clearly designed to prevent holiday cancellations. Starting December 4th, we get Kurt Sutter's new Western series, The Abandons.
Right, a period piece focusing on two powerful matriarchs battling for supremacy in 1850s Washington territory.
But the real IP firepower is saved for Christmas. The biggest event is December 25th. That's when Stranger Things 5. Volume 2 drops at 5 p.m. Pacific, focusing on the final showdown where the entire party unites with one goal: hunt and kill Vecna.
And then, for New Year's Eve, December 31st, we get the definitive conclusion with Stranger Things 5. The finale, also releasing at 5 p.m. Pacific. This two-part holiday strategy is designed to keep every subscriber locked in through the end of the year and across the transition into 2026.
And they are backing that up with other blockbuster sequels. December 12th sees the highly anticipated return of Daniel Craig with the mystery sequel, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
And the cast list for this one is absolutely stacked. We're talking Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Kerry Washington, Josh O'Connor.
Netflix knows that franchise safety is paramount, but prestige is what earns awards and critical acclaim. Which brings us to their Oscar bait. On December 5th, we get Jay Kelly, a film from Oscar nominee Noah Baumbach.
It's a midlife crisis dramedy starring George Clooney as the movie star and Adam Sandler as his manager. And the sources suggest Sandler is generating early Oscar buzz for a dramatic, complex performance in this role.
Not only is that a huge prestige play, but Netflix immediately capitalizes on the A-list production with a companion documentary, The Making of Jay Kelly.
So they're selling the process as much as the product.
Exactly. And the other A-list prestige drama hitting right before Christmas on December 24th is Goodbye June. It's a tender drama directed by and starring Kate Winslet, featuring Helen Mirren, Toni Collette, and Andre Riseborough, focused on a family's farewell to an ailing matriarch. That cast alone screams high-end festival circuit credentials. You know, when you look at the sheer volume, the blockbusters, the prestige dramas, the returning mega franchises like Stranger Things, and the December 18th premiere of Emily in Paris, Season 5, doesn't it just feel like we're being drowned? What is the mental cost of this content density for the viewer?
That's the critical structural analysis.
Yeah.
Netflix is operating at a content velocity that is genuinely overwhelming. They are trying to ensure that no matter what you are interested in, you have a major, high-quality, must-watch event dropping every single week.
So the mental cost is burnout.
It is. The mental cost is that consumers are constantly chasing content, leading to burnout and a sense of having to catch up just to remain relevant in cultural discussions. They weaponize the fear of missing out.
That weaponization continues into their docuseries and specials. December 5th gives us The New Yorker at 100, a documentary offering rare, unprecedented access to the newsroom. December 17th has the true crime doc, Murder in Monaco.
And December 26th features Cover Up, tracing the career of investigative journalist Seymour Hersh. And we also have the celebrity docs. December 10th brings Simon Cowell. The next act, following the music mogul's attempt to create the next global boy band sensation, a massive reality franchise play.
And then on December 30th, you get a doubleheader, the stand-up special Ricky Gervais, Mortality, focusing on life, death, and the state of the world, alongside the true crime docuseries Evil Influencer, the Jodi Hildebrandt story.
They hit every nerve: journalism, celebrity, true crime, and philosophical humor.
Looking ahead briefly into January 2026, the content pipeline doesn't slow down at all, which proves this pace is sustainable for them. They open the new year with 3 high-profile thriller miniseries.
Right, you get Runaway, a Harlan Coben thriller on January 1st, His and Hers, a psychological thriller on January 8th, and Agatha Christie's Seven Dials, a mystery drama on January 15th.
And the massive historical romance franchise returns with Bridgerton Season 4 Part 1 premiering on January 29th.
They are doubling down on what works, and you've got other notables like the reboot of the classic talent competition Star Search, hosted by Anthony Anderson in January, and the return of Rowan Atkinson for Mandy's Baby Season 2 on December 11th. The message is just crystal clear.
Right.
The spigot remains wide open. So if we connect this to the bigger picture of celebrity brand management and ultra-wealth, we see the legal system in 2025 being heavily utilized, not just for defense, but as an aggressive tool of offense.
Yeah.
The money involved in these cases is just staggering, and the need for reputational security is paramount. It reflects the same search for safety we were just talking about in the real estate market.
This section is extremely dense with high-stakes legal battles. Let's maybe group these cases thematically to understand the strategic shift in celebrity legal defense, starting with financial giants facing personal and reputational risk. We begin with the world's richest man, Elon Musk. He was sued by conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair in February 2025. She is seeking legal recognition and sole custody of their son, born in September 2024.
And St. Clair's allegations are highly damaging in the court of public opinion. She claims Musk has met the child only 3 times, has no involvement in his care, and drastically reduced child support payments after she defied his demands.
And if this is true,
If her claims are true, he is now the father of 13 children with 4 different women. While he stated he would take a paternity test, he publicly denied the necessity of a court order, which suggests this is a control battle as much as it is a paternity dispute.
next we pivot to Jay-Z, Sean Carter, who got caught up in the wider Diddy legal storm when an anonymous accuser filed a civil lawsuit in December 2024 alleging sexual assault in 2000 linked to a Diddy party.
And this case is a perfect illustration of the new, aggressive legal defense strategy, counter-litigation. That initial lawsuit was dropped abruptly after inconsistencies were pointed out. Jay-Z responded in March 2025 by suing the anonymous accuser and her lawyers for malicious prosecution, abuse of process, and civil conspiracy.
Hold on, we need to clarify malicious prosecution. What does that mean in this context, and why is Jay-Z seeking over $20 million?
Malicious prosecution is a really powerful legal weapon. It means suing someone for bringing a lawsuit against you that they knew to be false, often with the malicious intent of extortion or causing reputational harm.
So it's a counterattack.
It's an aggressive counterattack.
Yeah.
Jay-Z is essentially seeking to punish the accuser and her legal team, claiming that knowingly false allegations severely damaged his professional and personal reputation, and it serves notice that he will not settle nuisance suits quietly.
And this trend of aggressive counter-litigation is repeated across the music industry. The famously hostile rap feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar has now spilled directly into the legal arena.
Right, with Drake suing Universal Music Group.
Drake sued UMG, the label shared by both rappers, in January 2025. He accused the label of conspiring to promote Lamar's track, Not Like Us, which contained lyrics accusing Drake of sexual misconduct.
And the situation escalated dramatically when Lamar performed the song at the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, a global stage. Drake immediately expanded his lawsuit, citing defamation and increased threats against his family stemming from that widely viewed event.
So this moves way beyond a simple IP dispute.
Oh yeah. It's a claim that the label actively facilitated the defamation of one of its most valuable artists.
We also have Taylor Swift, who is currently facing a $30 million copyright infringement lawsuit from a poet, Kimberly Marasco. Marasco claims songs on Swift's albums Lover, Folklore, Midnights, and the Tortured Poets Department borrowed from her work.
And this is a tricky, recurring issue for Swift. Marasco first sued back in 2024, but that case was dismissed because she failed to properly serve Swift with the papers. In this 2025 lawsuit, while she has successfully served all the other relevant parties, she's facing the same logistical hurdle of serving Swift herself.
Which raises the question of whether the singer is deliberately using legal maneuvering to dodge the paperwork on these high-volume, lower-prestige claims.
It does. And finally, let's discuss Chris Brown, who is engaged in a monumental $500 million lawsuit against Warner Brothers Discovery following the release of the documentary Chris Brown, A History of Violence.
That's an enormous claim.
It is. The documentary revisited several sexual assault allegations, including one from an unnamed woman who accused Brown of sexual assault at a party on Diddy's yacht in 2020. Brown alleges the producers knowingly included false claims, causing him massive income loss.
It's a high-risk strategy.
Very high risk, high reward, particularly because he is promising that part of that $500 million demand, if he's successful, will be donated to survivors of sexual abuse. It's a clear attempt to reshape his own narrative around the litigation.
We turn now to the difficult ongoing fallout of sexual misconduct allegations that are really defining 2025 celebrity legal news. We have to first address Nick Carter, who is facing his 4th sexual assault lawsuit. Laura Penley sued Carter in April 2025, accusing him of assault twice in 2005.
And Penley's claims are very serious. She's alleging that Carter refused to use protection and infected her with STDs, including HPV, which she claims later led to stage 2 cervical cancer. Carter vehemently denies all allegations, claiming he never met her and maintaining that these are coordinated attacks intended to exploit the justice system.
But the cumulative weight of multiple accusers, regardless of the truth of the individual claims, creates an immense reputational burden.
It does. And the Hollywood legal firestorm surrounding Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni over the movie It Ends With Us is perhaps the most dramatic example of this reputation warfare. Lively accused Baldoni of sexual harassment during the film's 2024 production.
And the dispute turned into a colossal legal and PR battle. Baldoni sued the New York Times for inaccuracies. Then, in January 2025, he countersued Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist for a staggering $400 million, alleging extortion and defamation.
It's a massive escalation, attempting to prove that the initial accusations were not genuine complaints, but part of a calculated financial attack.
And the public opinion aspect here is key. While the trial is set for March 2026, the court of public opinion has already firmly taken sides. It shows how accusations, even if proven false later, can immediately fracture the public perception of even the most established celebrity figures.
The entire context for these cases, however, sits under the dark cloud of the Diddy fallout. The settlement of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit in November 2023 opened a floodgate of similar accusations, transforming an entertainment story into a massive criminal investigation.
And the charges became concrete in September 2024 when Sean Combs was indicted by a grand jury and subsequently arrested on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering.
This indictment alleges that Combs ran a decades-long criminal enterprise that facilitated systematic sexual exploitation through violence and blackmail. Prosecutors detailed how he controlled victims using drugs or financial threat and organized freak-offs parties, where victims were coerced into sexual acts, some of which were secretly recorded.
And he's facing serious time.
He pleaded not guilty, but if convicted on the racketeering charges, he faces 15 years to life in prison. The enterprise allegations are crucial here. They are framing the activity not as isolated incidents, but as a sustained, organized criminal structure built around celebrity power.
We have two other major cases demonstrating the breadth of celebrity legal trouble. Former NFL star Shannon Sharpe was sued in April 2025 by OnlyFans model Gabrielle Zuniga for sexual assault and infliction of emotional distress, seeking over $50 million.
And Sharpe immediately denied the allegations, calling it a money grab, but his lawyer later acknowledged that Sharpe had previously offered a $10 million settlement.
That admission is highly damaging.
It is. It suggests an attempt to bury the issue, and it forced Sharpe to step down from his role at ESPN to focus on his defense, citing the necessity of protecting his reputation.
And finally, Hall of Fame Yankees pitcher Mariano Rivera and his wife Clara were sued in January 2025 for negligence and attempting to cover up the sexual assault of a woman's daughter.
The suit alleges that the assault occurred during a church-affiliated internship in Florida and later at the Rivera home. The fact that the suit implicates the Riveras in a cover-up, rather than just the initial assault, is what makes this case particularly high-profile and reputationally dangerous for the highly respected couple. The charges suggest a failure to protect a vulnerable individual within their organization and their home.
We've spent a lot of time on reputational and financial destruction, but now we have to turn to the brutal reality that wealth offers no protection against the physical. We shift to a stark physical tragedy that illustrates the complete vulnerability of even the most exclusive communities, the horrific Los Angeles wildfires that have devastated the region. Claiming 24 lives, forcing 150,000 people to evacuate, and turning dozens of multi-million-dollar mega mansions into ash.
And this raises an important question about the massive impact that climate and environmental risk now have on ultra-luxury real estate valuation. We saw in South Florida that regulatory mandates are forcing owners to pay millions for structural safety. In LA, the environment is forcing owners to lose everything.
It just demonstrates that immense wealth offers no ultimate protection against catastrophic environmental forces.
Not at all.
The scale of the destruction is just staggering. The list of celebrity homes destroyed reads like a roll call of Hollywood and sports elite. The iconic Mediterranean-inspired Malibu mansion where supermodel Bella Hadid grew up, Yolanda Hadid's former home, was engulfed. Purchased for $4.5 million in 2007 and sold for $19.5 million in 2015, it is now confirmed completely destroyed.
Broadway producer Candy Spelling confirmed that her $23 million Malibu vacation home, a seven-bedroom oceanside retreat, was reduced to rubble and ash. Legendary songwriter Diane Warren also lost her Malibu beach house of nearly 30 years. The stories of immediate loss are just heartbreaking.
Other notable losses include the Pacific Palisades residence of actress Kobe Smulders and her husband Taran Killam, bought for $5.6 million in 2017, which was engulfed in minutes. Star couple Jamie Chung and Brian Greenberg also confirmed the total loss of their Pacific Palisades oasis.
The destruction was extensive across the high net worth areas.
Yeah.
Jenny Aiko lost her $5.6 million home, purchased barely a year before. Princess Bride star Carrie Elwes revealed that his Moroccan-style house, built in 1978, was destroyed. Even 100-year-old historic properties like Denise Crosby's Spanish cottage were not spared. This proves that high valuation does not equal high physical security in an era of climate acceleration.
Amidst all this destruction, though, we saw incredible examples of resilience, specifically in sophisticated, expensive architecture. The J. Paul Getty Museum, valued at $1.3 billion, faced encroaching flames on two fronts but resisted the blaze entirely.
And that success was entirely by design, and this is the link back to the Florida conversation. The Getty Center, designed by Richard Meyer and opened in 1997, was built specifically to resist fire.
So it was planned for.
It features stone aggregate roofs, fire-resistant exterior stone, and special doors that prevent flames and heat from traveling inside. A crew of 28 individuals remained inside to safeguard the priceless artworks.
What the Getty teaches us is that protection from environmental disaster is now a quantifiable design and investment metric.
Absolutely. Just as South Florida regulators are forcing owners to fund reserves for structural integrity, environmental risk, whether from rising seas or massive wildfires, is now a high-stakes variable in ultra-luxury real estate valuation and insurance markets. You are no longer just buying a view, you are buying engineering resistance.
The personal stories of escape bring home the human cost, reminding us that celebrity status doesn't ease the panic. Actress Britney Spears had to drive 4 hours from her $7.4 million mansion because she had no electricity to recharge her phone, leaving her terrified and unable to communicate.
And General Hospital star Cameron Matheson escaped his Pasadena home wearing only his clothing as the fire spread rapidly, demonstrating that preparation is often futile against such massive, fast-moving forces.
We have covered a huge amount of ground today, transitioning from the rarefied world of global luxury media and content creation to the shock of market volatility and high-stakes celebrity scandal and physical destruction.
And the sources highlight the intense acceleration of the modern information age and the complex relationship between wealth and safety. Everything is simultaneously hyper-localized, like the nuances of the Jupiter real estate market or the struggle against the regulatory triple threat.
And globally exposed.
And globally exposed through massive Netflix launches and international celebrity lawsuits.
And the underlying persistent theme we found throughout all these segments is the search for safety. Safety, whether it is financial, sought through the strategic discount of a Jupiter mansion, physical safety, demonstrated by the fire-resistant construction of the Getty Museum,
Or reputational safety.
or reputational safety, fought for bitterly and expensively in the dramatic 2025 celebrity legal battles. So what does this all mean?
It means that the high net worth life, often portrayed as impenetrable and aspirational in media like Impact Wealth, is subject to very tangible and often uncontrollable forces. Regulatory mandates are forcing multi-million-dollar assessments on condos, environmental disasters wiping out mega mansions, and unforgiving public scrutiny is fueled by the acceleration of information overload and aggressive legal counterattacks.
So it's a world built on high risks and high rewards.
Exactly, where failure is not only immensely expensive, but instantly global news.
And as we end this deep dive, consider this final provocative thought for you to mull over. We saw that despite the middle market condo sector plummeting and housing market experts predicting price falls even in luxury areas like Jupiter, South Florida's underlying economic engine is running hot.
Thanks to job growth in the crucial trades, transportation, and utility sectors. That TNTU.
So if the luxury market is fundamentally based on access and exclusivity, as Impact Wealth suggests, what truly dictates the long-term stable value of the region? The sheer accumulation of financial wealth and celebrity, or the steady essential labor force that keeps the lights on, the logistics moving, and the region functioning?